Moving on to the next. Now we're getting into the part where you are applying the teachings concerning unity in the community. We're dealing here with the issue of how problems are dealt with at a community level in order to foster the unity that would bring about the progress, the success, and the wealth that we would achieve through working together. Now, how do we apply the teaching? To fully manifest the potential of Osa Ori, practitioners are guided to confront problems together. All right? Instead of running from difficulties, we must learn to face them head on alongside the community, ensuring that the foundation remains undisturbed. What do we mean? Now, the first part of it says that the problems must be confronted together. So let's talk about the establishing of particular protocols. One of the things is whenever a problem occurs in the community, what we need to do is we need to bring the parties together, meaning the accused and the person who's doing the accusation. But even before that, one of the prerequisites is if a person feel offended from whatever the situation might be, is that the person must be willing to submit to the elders or to the appropriate persons a written report on what the situation would have been. This way, the person responsible, the elder responsible, would be able to evaluate the situation and to know whether this is a situation that needs to move forward, meaning to go before other elders, or if it is a situation that could be resolved very easily. All right? And in extreme cases, depending on what has occurred, if the matter needs to be dealt with by the authorities, and by the authorities I mean by the governmental agencies that are appointed to deal with particular types of violations, then it is handed over to them. Okay, and by this I want you to be clearly, I want all listeners to clearly understand. What I mean by this is that the practice of our tradition does not warrant the breaking or the violating of laws. Our practice, as far as our elders has established and the ancestors has established, is that we follow our tradition. And our tradition, as far as I understand our tradition, does not violate the laws of the Constitution of our country. All right? And our practice, I do not believe within our practice we are taught to violate the Constitution. All right? Our tradition is that of being in line with nature, the laws of nature, the natural laws, generally, as far as I know, do not violate the constitutional laws of this country. And the Constitution of this country grants all persons the right to practice their religion and their tradition. All right? So let's go back. Now, when they talk about confronting the problems together instead of running away, dealing with it head on, as I mentioned before, the accuser and the accused is generally brought before a council of elders, not one elder alone, but several elders. And depending on the nature of the affairs, in most instances, balance must be maintained. By that, if it is a male-female situation, you must have males represented on the Council of Elders as well as females. All right? If it is even a matter that does not include a male and female person coming before the council, it is also generally advisable that the council have some sort of balance on the whole, having both the male and the female element among the spiritual elders. All right, now, one of the reasons why particularly this Odu, Osa Ori, talks about head-on is because, in all fairness, you cannot have a decision being made without the person who is being accused being absent and not being able to represent themselves. Okay, that would lead to the type of judgment that is prejudicial. So not only must the accused be heard before the Council of Spiritual Elders, but both parties must be present and both parties are allowed to present their situation. All right? This hinges on what is referred to as fundamental fairness. That every situation that deals with human needs, human situations require. Remember, in part 1, we spoke about confronting problems together. We also spoke about Iwa Pele and the idea of respecting others, as well as through Iwa Pele, respecting oneself. For justice to prevail, there must be the presence of mutual respect, meaning respecting oneself and respecting the other party. All right? These approaches to problem solving normally ensures that there is stability of the foundation of any community. All right? And last but not least, maintaining coolness, which deals with the sobriety needed in developing the character of Iwa Pele, deals with the issue of personal responsibility. We must all, as devotees and members of the community, aspire towards having a sober character, meaning being able to deal with all situations with a level of coolness that would ensure that we treat others fairly. All right? Unity requires maturity and patience. This Odu frequently prescribes Ebo to protect your character so that your ambitions do not negatively impact those around you. So let's talk a little bit about the maturity and the patience that they are speaking about. When we talk about Iwa Pele, we are talking about having a sense of balance, having a sense of coolness, which is what facilitates good communication. And also we're speaking about being mature in dealing with matters and situations. We are all human beings. Therefore, we are all inclined to make mistakes. No one is perfect, including myself. However, whenever we make a mistake and we are wrong, we must always be mature enough to admit we made a mistake. We must be mature enough not only to admit that we make the mistake, but to commit to growing and developing by not making the same mistake in the future. This is the type of maturity that is being referred to in this Odu, Osa Ori. Now, patience is also a necessary requirement, particularly given the fact that none of us are perfect.